If your child is struggling academically or consistently performing below average level, this video has the solution. Today, I share non-negotiables that must be in place for every child, irrespective of age, ability, school type, or even the income level of parents. If you've listened to my previous videos, you will have heard me consistently say that your child is not lazy and they are not broken. They just need the right support. And that is what I am here to share with you. As a learning coach and an educational psychology specialist, I study how the brain learns, how children regulate themselves, and why some children thrive while others of equal intelligence or even superior intelligence tend to struggle. Most parents attack academic problems from the top. They check for grades, they check the tests, as well as homeworks. However, learning itself does not happen from the top to the bottom. It happens from the bottom to the top. What do I mean? Take this analogy for example. If there is a problem with the foundation of a house, the solution does not come by repainting the walls of the house. It comes by fixing the foundation. Now, thankfully, we're not talking about your house. Today, I'll be showing you 5 non-negotiable learning foundations that must be put in place that would determine if your child remains at average or they rise to the top 1% in their class. Here's a fundamental truth when it comes to academic success. Academic failure is a systems failure and not necessarily a child problem. In resetting the system for academic success, I'm going to begin with the most ignored academic tool called sleep. Sleep powers the brain. It is what consolidates and crystallizes memory. A sleep deprivation problem can begin to show up in your child as low intelligence or even attention problems like ADHD. Here are some checks I want you to take as a parent to combat the sleep problem. Number one is to fix a consistent bedtime and wake up time. For primary school age children, they need a minimum of 9 to 11 hours of sleep, while adolescents need a complete 8 to 10 hours of sleep. This is hard, I know, but I want you to know it is possible. The second check I want you to take as a parent, as a matter of urgency, is to remove TVs and other devices as well as screens from the bedroom. This is because children need at least 1 hour of screen-free time before bed. You can support this by having a wind down routine or schedule that includes activities like getting a quick checklist for tomorrow, and then activities like having a warm bath, putting on their sleepwear, dimming the lights, reading bedtime stories, saying quiet prayer or reflection, and so on. These are good example of wind down routines that can help your children prepare that 1 hour screen free time before bed. The truth is that you cannot tutor a tired brain to excellence. The second learning foundation that must be reset for academic success is emotional safety. Emotional safety is a non-negotiable because a threatened brain cannot learn deeply. Fear, anxiety, pressure, these only trigger the amygdala, which is a survival instinct. And when amygdala is triggered, it shuts down the learning brain as well as higher order thinking. So please don't mistake pressure for motivation. If emotional safety is missing, you will encounter things like homework battles, short-term compliance, fear of making mistakes, and so on. So it is important that as a parent, you start the morning, start the day with encouragement. A simple "I believe in you" will go a long way. Think of it as emotional breakfast, which is just as important as the food breakfast. The third learning foundation which you must reset today to help your child get to the top 1% in their class is basic skills fluency. This refers to fluency or automaticity in skills like reading, writing, and basic mathematics. When your child has achieved basic literacy and numeracy, this frees up their working memory for more complex thinking. So if your 7 or 8 year old child is still struggling with basic math, with basic reading and writing, it is good that you step in to help as a parent, or you engage the services of a professional, because early intervention goes a long way. Basic skill fluency is a non-negotiable because a child can't solve complex problems when they are still battling with simple ones. The fourth learning foundation to help your child rise to the top 1% in their class is environmental predictability. The truth is that the brain loves predictability, and disorder outside soon becomes disorder on the inside. How can you achieve this? Simple. Ensure that there is a dedicated place for study, and that this dedicated space is clutter free before study and even during study. The second thing you can do is to have predictable study time. Let there be a predictable study time, a predictable start time, a predictable finish time. And this brings us to the fifth point, which is consistency over intensity. Learning itself is a neurological rewiring, and rewiring requires repetition and not emotional outbursts. Excellence itself is boring because it requires small daily actions without drama. Consistency builds confidence, while intensity builds burnout. So, enough of weekend cramming, reading marathons, overloading, and your emotional reactions to your children's grades. On a final note, I want you to know this: the top 1% students are not raised by shouting parents, they are raised by intentional systems. So, you fix the foundation first, and every other thing becomes easier. If this has helped you to see your child differently, I want you to click on the subscribe button. I regularly come here to share with you how you can work with your child's brain and not against it. Attached in the description of this video is a link to one of my videos that will help you to build a strong routine, whether it's a sleeping routine or a reading routine or a wake up routine. I am sure it will help you. Thank you for joining us on today's video. I hope to see you in the next one.